on a cloudy and cold final Thursday before Christmas. Welcome, everybody, into the Animal House. It's the Bullpen with Adam the Bull, a Bull and Fox Animal House edition on this Thursday, our second to last show. We're going to do a bonus show next Monday after the Browns and Bengals. But for today, we're here. Dustin's got the Christmas sweater going, lit up.
Oh, yeah.
Big time. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited for the big weekend. College football playoffs are here. Much anticipated. Looking forward to that. And Christmas right around the corner, man. Got all these holidays, mashed up in the next, 10 to 14 days. I'm excited about that. I'm going to the Bahamas on New Year's. So, a lot to be excited about.
Are you done shopping?
No.
Oh, it's a bad job out of you. Now are you going to stores or are you doing Amazon?
Both.
Okay. I mean, going to the stores this weekend.
I've got to go. I've got to go to the store for one more thing, but it's probably going to happen tomorrow.
All right, maybe you get away with it.
Yeah, and I'm not going to go like in during rush hour or I don't know. I'll probably go like tomorrow morning.
Well, everybody, we'll see you on Monday, but so we'll give you a final happy holiday wish there. But as you mentioned, great weekend. Look at this lineup on Saturday. Saturday at noon, SMU at Penn State. 1 p.m., Texans at the Chiefs. 4 p.m., Clemson at Texas. 4:30, Steelers at Ravens. 8 o'clock, Tennessee at Ohio State. That is a fun day of both college and pro football. It's going to be awesome.
It's funny. I sort of forgot that there was NFL this weekend on Saturday.
Yeah, and it's good games, too.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's man, I don't think I'm leaving the couch on Saturday. No. By the way, can we start with this for a second?
Yeah.
My bad fan, because I decided I got my tickets to the game on Saturday, and I saw the forecast, and I sold them to a buddy.
No, first of all, I used to do this to some degree, and I've stopped doing this over the years. People should fan however the hell they want to fan. I don't think you're a bad fan for selling your tickets. Who the hell wants to sit out there in this freezing cold weather? It's going to be, at game time, Saturday night, it's going to be like 22 degrees. I don't want to be out there in that kind of weather.
No chance. No chance. I love going to football games when it's September.
Yeah.
And it's 72 degrees.
Yeah.
It's sunny. There's a nice cool breeze, as Adam would say, nice fat man weather. That's where I want to be at a football game.
That's right.
Period.
Yes. Not freezing cold. By the way, I was talking with Charles Davis yesterday on the podcast, and Charles, of course, you know him well.
How many questions did you get in?
You know
One
what?
Or two?
No, it was a lot more. He's. I think it's because of all these years he's been doing games with Iron Eagle now that he's short. Now, even when he gave us long answers, they were always good. But he's shortened them up a little bit. I mean, he's still long, but it was a little shorter. But he was talking. Obviously he's excited and thinks Tennessee has a chance to win this game because he's a Tennessee.
He's a volunteer. I was going to say.
And it sounds like there may be a decent Tennessee presence at this game, but it's going to be fascinating to see how they handle this kind of weather because you think a lot of their players have never played in this kind of weather.
All right, so I was in Nashville 3 weeks ago, and it's not too far from Knoxville.
Right.
It was 40s, like high 30s. It's cold.
Yeah.
But bro, it's not 18. It's not 20. It's not nighttime. It's not wind. It's different. There's a huge difference from 40 degrees to 20.
Oh my God, yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
Now, the difference of me going to the game or not going to the game. How about that?
That's right. Now, as of the forecast I saw an hour ago, the wind's not supposed to be that bad. But sometimes it could be. It doesn't seem that bad, but in those stadiums, it could just swirl up and get going. You never know.
It just chills me to the core thinking about those poor souls going to that game. And by the way, I love it. I love the idea of not even the idea. I just love the fact that we have on-campus home games in the playoffs, which is something I've been, Bull, I've been screaming about this for years because I did the FCS games. And I would always talk, I'd be going around to Brookings, South Dakota for South Dakota State and these cool campuses, and these games are hosted and the fans are so locked into it. I did a Montana State game in Bozeman a couple of years ago. I remember that. And I loved the atmosphere of these games. I think it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Whether there's going to be that many Tennessee Volunteer fans there or not, or however, I mean, it's going to be packed. We know that. It's going to be 110,000 fans at the Horseshoe. Whether they're Volunteer fans or Ohio State fans, it's going to be loud. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be electric. The most electric games that I ever played in the Horseshoe were night games. I think I played in 2.
Yeah.
That's sometimes because like an actual, because we didn't have lights, man. They had to bring in lights.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
So they would bring in we had my freshman year. This was probably the loudest I'd ever heard the Horseshoe. This was against Northwestern in 2001. And it was the first play, or I think it was the first play of the game, offensive play of the game. Jonathan Wells, who you've met before, Bull.
Of course, yeah.
Jonathan Wells takes it 80 yards.
Yeah.
First play.
Yeah.
And I never heard that stadium louder.
Wow.
It was insane.
Who would have predicted that the loudest ever would be against Northwestern of all teams?
I mean, I played in. It was louder, I swear to God, in that game than it was when we played Michigan in 02.
That's wild.
Which was a noon kickoff, whatever. But I mean, that was a loud game. In 03, we played Washington at home as an 8:00 kickoff, and I don't think there was another one we played at night. No, there wasn't. They're rare.
Yeah, that's true.
Not anymore. Not anymore. Now that these TV deals love those primetime games.
Yeah. Speaking of night games, tonight was supposed to be a night game between the Browns and Bengals. Obviously, those teams have not had a good season. The Browns were eliminated from the playoffs. The Bengals are still alive. They got to win out. They need either Denver or the Chargers to lose out and have Miami and Indy lose one game. So they're a long shot to make the playoffs. So the game's been moved to Sunday at 1 o'clock. The Bengals are a 7.5-point favorite, and DTR is on the field. I know we talked about this on UCSS earlier in the week, but what do you think about DTR? Do you have it? What are your expectations? I guess
the guy has thrown 3 picks this year. He's basically played the equivalency of a game.
Yes,
in the amount of snaps that he's put together in multiple games. So, look, I don't think DTR is a starting caliber quarterback in this league, but he's only been in the league for 2 seconds, and he's under contract. And we talked about this a little bit on UCSS. It's like, it only makes sense to play the guy who might have some upside. I think we know exactly what Jameis Winston is and what he can do. Zappy's on the roster too. I'm not really too concerned about him, but I mean, DTR is somebody that this organization has seemed to have some sort of infatuation with. I don't know. I mean, they like him, and I don't know why. Maybe he's a really good practice player. Maybe he's super smart. Maybe he's a great teammate. I don't know, but he's here, and you put Jameis Winston out there. I think we know we're going to get 350 yards passing. We're going to get a shootout, and it's going to be ugly at the end. We'll probably throw a pick. I mean, that's probably what you're going to get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With DTR, they'll probably be a little bit more conservative. I bet the game's played for the Browns to have a chance to win this game. It's going to be probably a lower scoring game, which I don't really think can happen. I don't know that the Browns offense can score with the Bengals, even though the Bengals defense stinks. But I have very low to zero expectations for Dorian Thompson-Robinson in this game. Bull, how about you?
Yeah, pretty low. I think he's going to struggle. And I know, part of me says, well, this is a good opportunity for him because, as you said, and you're right, the Bengals defense is terrible. Now, I will say, in their last couple of games, the Bengals defense has gone from like a 0 to maybe a 1.5. So they're still bad. They're not quite as bad as they were for most of the season. They've been a little bit better, but it's still bad. So that's an opportunity there. But the Bengals, one thing they did very well last week against Tennessee, the young quarterback. Obviously, Will Levis is more experienced than DTR, but they forced a lot of turnovers. Like the Browns, the Titans turned the ball over 6 times. And listen, we know that the Browns defensively have played better against Joe Burrow for whatever reason than any other team in the league. Now, the Ravens and Steelers have plenty of wins against the Bengals, but they've had to be slugfests because Burrow's played great against those guys. He's played great against Kansas City. For whatever reason, he seems to have some of his worst games against the Browns. I think this would be, if the Bengals win on Sunday, the first time the Bengals with Burrow have swept the Browns in a season, I think. So we'll see. But as you see, like the Bengals only scored 21 points in their first meeting. You would think if it's a normal Joe, I mean, Burrow, if the Bengals were good, Burrow's the favorite to win the MVP. I know it's between Lamar and Allen as it should be, but if the Bengals right now were 8-6 instead of 6-8 and on their way to the playoffs, he'd be right there with them, if not ahead. That's the type of season he's had. But yeah, I mean, I think in the end, even though they held them to 21 and their defenses played well, I still think the Browns are going to have to score a lot of points to win this game. And I'll tell you, if I'm a Bengals player on defense, I'd much rather DTR play than Jameis Winston. How about you?
Yeah, no, I would. I think you at least, although he does turn the ball over too. I don't know, man. This is not a good situation for Cleveland.
No. On paper,
You know, we're talking about the lesser of two evils here to some degree. It's like, I mean, they're both not great quarterbacks. They're not great options. The team is hurt. I mean, the overall, it's like a death march here to the end of the season. And I don't even know what we're watching this game for. I mean, we're going to watch it, obviously. But I'm saying in terms of is there anything we can gain knowledge-wise about the team, about certain players? I mean, even if DTR goes out there and throws for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, it's one game. You're not going to come into the show on Monday and be like, sign this guy to a long-term deal. Like, it's just not going to happen. And even if the Browns won this game by 40 or lost this game by 40, I don't think any of it would mean anything in the grand scheme of things in terms of decision making at the end of the season by the front office.
I mean, Mikey McNugget said to me today, if DTR played lights out for 3 weeks, I mean, balled out, 10 touchdowns, no interceptions, 1,000 yards, some crazy numbers. Even if that happened, which I think the odds of that happening are less than 1%, but even if that happened, I wouldn't be completely sold based on 3 games, especially because the Bengals defense stinks, the Dolphins are kind of a mess, and the Ravens, as much as we think of the Ravens, their defense is not very good. They've won games because of their offense. I mean, it's not Bengals bad, but it's bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. No matter what 3 games, great. It'd be awesome to see. Right. And certainly we know fans here in Cleveland better than anybody that they'll be all on board and fired up and think that he's the next, the second coming of Bernie Kosar.
Yeah.
But the reality is that's just it's gonna be really tough to make a decision on DTR's future in 3 games.
Speaking of Bernie, you mentioned Bernie. It reminded me of something he said today.
You matter.
Yeah, we love Bernie. He's a big salesman, but we love him. You know what he said today? And it just really stood out. And I was like, oh, my God, this is probably going to happen. So we know the Browns are very likely going to have this new indoor stadium in, 2029 that they'll have it in theory? I think it's 2029.
Sounds right
Somewhere
to me.
around there. It's possible. And so the Browns have been playing in their current stadium since 1999. And if they play through 2028, that'd be, 30 years. It's very possible that the Browns will never play a playoff home game in this stadium. Isn't that crazy? Not one.
Has that ever happened? Has there ever been a building built for an organization, a professional, one of the main pro sports?
That's
NHL, NBA, MLB, NFL.
You'd have to, if you gave a minimum number of years, say 25 years, that they played in at least 25 years, I don't know. My guess is no. I want to say, I'm trying to think who has the longest playoff drought in sports right now. I know it was the Mariners until like a year or 2 ago, but they got to the playoffs. And in baseball and basketball, if you make the play, not the play-in, but if you make the real playoffs in baseball and basketball, you're guaranteed at least 1 or 2 home games. So it really have to be football.
You said the Mariners?
Yeah.
Where did they used to play was it the King Dome?
King
or
Dome.
Something?
Yeah. But they went to the playoffs in the King Dome because I don't remember when their new ballpark opened, but it was.
Was that like when Griffey was there?
Yeah, the King Dome was when Griffey was there. So they definitely went to the playoffs with him. So I don't know. I mean, you're right. It might be possible that this would be and the Browns have so many other records.
Got to be a great stat on that. We'll find that out as we go, I'm sure. But that would be insane. It would only make sense too, by the way.
Oh, of course. I mean, they haven't played it.
Just
Bernie was the last.
Only fitting it would be that the Factory of Sadness, shout out Mike
Yeah,
Polk,
yeah,
would get torn down without ever hosting a playoff game.
yeah. By the way, speaking of Mike, have you seen his video, like the tourism video for Cleveland?
Of course, come on.
Okay,
The bear shit in the woods?
Yeah, that is. I mean, that's Mike at his best. I mean, Factory of Sadness is great.
It's good.
But,
He's had some really good ones. I mean, that was the Factory of Sadness with the Brian Pomperion jersey is one of the all-time greats.
Oh my God, folks! If you don't know what we're talking about, I'm sure if you're a Browns fan, you know what we're talking about. But you have to check it out from Mike Polk. You can see it on YouTube. All right, I'm going to take a quick break here, and then we're going to get to some fan questions and to some other things. I gotta run by what happened. This report from the Jets owner as well, because this is just unbelievable. But first,
the Madden thing.
Oh yeah. I got to get your take on that.
All right. Yeah. Go ahead. Do your thing.
So first, players can play same game parlays on college football and NFL games to earn squares. Our exclusive squares game here at Bet Rivers offers additional chances at profit boosts, bonus bets, and many $10,000 jackpots. For more info, check out the Bet Rivers app or go to betrivers.com. We're going to get to the fan comments in a minute, but since I brought it up already, so for those who didn't see this, The Athletic, Diana Rossini, our old buddy Mike Silver, and it was somebody else.
He's certainly not our buddy, is he?
No, I'm being sarcastic.
I don't know about that.
Nobody in Cleveland could read the article probably if he put it out by himself because he's blocked the entire city of Cleveland. But
didn't you get into it with him or something?
Yeah, well, remember he was like the Hugh Jackson apologist. That was the whole thing.
That's right.
I don't remember exactly what we got into, but he was just insane when it came to Hugh. But so they all, and Diana Rossini I think did a lot of it, but they wrote a column about the Jets, and in this column, two of the main things that stood out were that the Jets apparently had a trade worked out for Jeudy before he got traded to the Browns. And the owner of the team, Woody Johnson, nixed it because Jeudy's Madden rating was too low.
There's no way this is a real story.
You know what? It's so funny because Tyvis, another former player like you, said the exact same thing. And G and I were like, of course this is true. Some of these owners are idiots. It also said in the article, before you go, that apparently his teenage sons, have as much say as other people in the organization based on their Madden like skills, whatever. They're big time Madden players. Now it sounds insane, but Dustin, if you're a billionaire that grew up filthy rich, now not a Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban kind of he made his own way, right? He built his own fortune. Woody Johnson came. They live in La La Land. They don't live like the rest of us. This is the team. The team is like his toy. And whatever, it's his team. He can do whatever the hell he wants, but I don't think it sounds insane, but I believe it. I don't think Diana Rossini's making this up.
Well, I mean, listen, we've got stories of Jimmy Haslam listening to a homeless man to draft Johnny Manziel.
That's right.
And we believe that, by the way.
Yes.
And let's be honest, there's no way that's true.
That's probably not true.
It's probably not true.
Right, but this is like they had 3 reporters working on the story. I can't imagine this is all made up.
No, I don't think it's made up. The thing about the kids, though, it's kind of funny, man. And you know, we always joke, you and I do, about like how if these owners would get out of their own way and actually just like listen to, the Mel Kiper guide or call plays like you're on Madden or whatever. Like, if I was a billionaire and owned a team, my son's 11. I'd be like, Tatum, who do you think? My son's name's Tatum. I'd be like, Tatum, Jerry Jeudy. What do you think, man? And Tatum would be like, Dad, I don't know, man. No. He's only got 87 speed on Madden. I'm like, oh shit. Yeah. Well, I guess we're not trading for him.
No. And I can't. It's not unfair to have been skeptical about Jerry Jeudy before the season. I think many of us were. I certainly was. But for that to be the reason is just is just crazy.
I just don't buy that that's the reason. I do buy that maybe there was a conversation had with his sons before they traded or were thinking about Jeudy, and maybe his son said that, and maybe he told somebody that and gets lost in translation
That's
playing
possible.
a game of telephone that somebody says, oh, because they heard that he asked his kids and his kids gave him a thing and maybe he laughed it off or something. But it gets back to somebody else. It's like Condoleezza Rice's going to be the GM for the Browns. I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, I mean, and then, who knows? Maybe the guys that work for him, they can't stand him. They're like, he makes decisions based on Madden, just kind of throwing him under the bus. But obviously,
I just don't think that there's no way that somebody who owns a football team who they've been to AFC championship games under this guy. Like they've had a decent team or two at times.
It's been a while.
I know that, but I'm saying you're still a billionaire. You're a successful guy in life, right? There's no way you would willy-nilly that decision, right?
I don't know.
Or do we just live in a world where it's so crazy and his world's so delusional or whatever you want to say about his life that he can just freaking do whatever the hell he wants?
Yeah, I just think when you have that kind of money, what's the risk? Like he's not going broke if the team sucks.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's kind of crazy, but I mean, it worked out for the Browns that they were able to get Jeudy. Really, I mean, that's been one of the very few bright spots for the Browns this year has been the acquisition and the play of Jeudy. I wonder if Jeudy, who now is top 5 in receiving yards this year, he's got to be a little disappointed that DTR is playing because, as you said, and I agree, they're going to play more conservatively. And DTR, if I'm Jeudy, I got this great chemistry with Jameis. I'm putting up huge numbers. I know he's already gotten paid, but I don't know. I'd be a little concerned if I were him.
Mm-hmm.
Think he's worried about that?
I don't think so.
No?
You do? You think he is?
I think I would be. I don't want any, everybody's, listen, when he got traded, every former Denver Bronco was killing this guy, right? Schlereth and Stokely and all across the board. And they were all killing him, everybody in Denver. And now he, to some degree, he's vindicated. I mean, he's got to back it up with another year, but he's been pretty. I mean, the guy's having a great season. He can't knock it.
Well, he's proven one thing, and that's that he belongs. He belongs in this league, and he's a good player.
And if he does it again next year, he's going to be a legit number 1 receiver if he backs it up.
Yeah. I mean, dude, this guy. I remember watching him play at Alabama, and I was like, man, this guy's going to tear up the NFL because he tore it up in the SEC. And the SEC, we know how good football is down there. Yeah. And he just didn't do much here, but all of a sudden now it's like, okay. I hope the light bulb has turned on, and if it has, the Browns have got to steal because this is the one deal that Andrew Berry's made that well, he's made a couple, but I mean, a deal where it's like this seems crazy, and then it pans out,
no doubt,
signing your kicker to a long-term deal with a lot of guaranteed money. I mean, how would that deal ever? How would anybody ever look back on that deal and be like, man, we just fleeced everybody else?
Never makes sense.
Never.
Unless you have the best kicker in football, like a Justin Tucker in his prime, and even that I'd be hesitant. But unless it's that case, that level, if there is such a thing, a Hall of Fame level of kicker, I would never even consider giving a kicker a contract beyond 1 year. Never. Because they're all up and down. Now, and finally Tucker's hit the skids a little bit, and now it's like, all right, the kicker with the Cowboys is great, and the Steelers kicker, he's really good. But, the Bengals paid Evan McPherson too, and he'd been really good, but this year he sucked, and now he's hurt. It's like I never get that. But anyway, let's read a couple.
When you have a job that is graded on strictly there's no error. I mean, you error as a kicker, you suck. You can't have a job. You can play corner and grade out at 85%.
Yeah,
and be like, and you make a lot of plays, and no one's bitching about your job. But as a kicker, you're 85% in one game, or in the season, 80 whatever.
Yeah.
You're not going to have a job.
No,
certainly not in PATs.
There's no patience. Lucky Sparrow wishes us a happy Hanukkah and a Merry Christmas. Thank you, Lucky Sparrow. Big GOG. We are live on a cold and miserable Thursday afternoon. # Bull and Fox. Grass and Bass. Kevin could get fired if we get smashed by 40 on Sunday. I don't think he's going to get fired in season. I don't think he's going to get fired at all. But do you think he could be fired in season? Do you think there's any chance that happens?
In season, no. After the season, yeah, I do.
Marketville, we need to stick with Deshaun, build the O-line, and give him a freaking running back. I got a hard pass on that one.
Hey, you know what's funny, man?
Yeah.
Read your things and then remind me to come back to the Hanukkah thing.
Okay. Lucky Sparrow also says, when the Brook Park Stadium is built, who is going to win the Super Bowl when it is hosted there? Ravens or Steelers? They'll go up against Baker's NFC team, of course, just to pour salt in the wounds. That would be like if it was Baker and the Bucks against the Ravens or the Steelers in the Super Bowl in Cleveland. That would be, I mean, I don't know what level of painful that would be. Let's see. RDY says, if we win, sign Kevin for 5 more years. I don't know about that. James May says, my favorite 2 to watch. Thank you, James. Zach Huffman, we've gotten this question 1,000 times. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? What do you say?
I wouldn't know. I never saw it.
Are you serious? How did I not remember this? I know that I've often said, are you serious about not watching movies? We've done that for 15 years.
I would never say that to you in terms of a movie I've never I wouldn't lie to you about it. You know that.
No, I know you wouldn't. I'm just shocked because I thought we'd had this conversation before. To me, Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. It takes place at Christmas time. I don't think that makes it a Christmas movie. It really has nothing to do with Christmas. Go ahead.
Sorry. I think the movies that take place around Christmas are holiday movies to me.
Okay. All right.
Because I would watch that movie around the holidays and it kind of has a holiday. I don't know. Like even if there's nothing at all to do with Christmas or whatever the holidays, but you just like, let's say it's set in New York City and there's Christmas trees and there's lights and there's just, you know what I mean? Like it's set around the holidays.
All right.
It still, to me, kind of makes me a little nostalgic.
This was in L.A. and there's no Christmas feel. It can't be any Christmas. Like if you're celebrating Christmas in L.A., is there a Christmas feel? I guess if you grew up with it, you don't know anything else. But it's got to be weird being in a warm weather place for Christmas.
I've never had to be in a warm weather place for Christmas. The closest I was to that was in San Antonio.
Yeah.
And even then it was like 45. It
Yeah.
wasn't that because it was we were there for the Alamo Bowl my senior year of college.
Okay.
Yeah. But eventually one day I'm going to live in Florida or somewhere tropical
and Christmas there.
Yeah, or will I fly back to Ohio because I miss the snow for Christmas? I don't know.
Maybe you just fly your family down there.
Good point.
Z says someone needs to make Deshaun Watson's Madden rating 99 and trade him to the Jets.
Great point.
That's good, Z. Let's see. Grass and Bass. How many NFL coaches have kept their job after 3 wins or less? Not many. That's fair. Let's see. Dave M. for the Browns, 2025 quarterback, draft 1, veteran free agent, and Watson. Watson's going to technically be on the roster. They can't cut him. It's too big a cap hit. It'd be like $120 million. He's technically going to be on the roster. I don't think there's any chance he's ever going to play for them. In fact, I don't think there's any chance he's ever going to play, period, in the league again, in my mind. Let's see. Grass and Bass, 2 of 50. Andrew Berry draft picks are extended contracts on the roster. Some of them are too early for that, to be fair. And Finey says, why can't the Browns offer Ozzie Newsome a blank check to work for us? I mean, at this point, he's retired.
Isn't he retired?
Yeah. I mean, he was as good a GM as there was in the league. He was in a great situation in Baltimore. Why would he have left if he, I mean.
You know what? Let's bring Mike Holmgren in. How about that?
Nightmares from that one. All right. You want to tell a story?
So the other morning, I'm going to play tennis at 5:45 in the morning. I'm driving to the gym, and I have the holiday music on in my car. It's a holiday playlist, and the Hanukkah song comes on by Adam Sandler.
Sure, great song.
And every time I hear that song, it reminds me of my one buddy from high school who used to just love Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
And then you, because you're Jewish. Like you're like the one buddy of mine who's Jewish.
Yeah.
Not that you're one. I mean, I've got other friends that are Jewish, but you're the closest.
Right. Gotcha.
And there's one line in there. I just looked it up. He says, O.J. Simpson, not a Jew, but guess who is? Hall of Famer Rod Carew.
Yeah.
And that made me think you were too.
That is good. It's like, don't stick us with him.
Yeah.
We got enough problems. OJ ain't one of them.
Dude, I went down a rabbit hole last night.
Yeah.
At like 2:00 in the morning. I couldn't sleep, and I'm on. You know how you scroll.
Oh,
we
my
all
God. The
And I hate myself.
Instagram Reels.
It's that or Twitter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Like it's all the same. It's just doop, 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 doop. And then you look at the clock and just 30 minutes have passed and it feels like it's 2 seconds. Anyway, I went down a rabbit hole of Norm Macdonald, which is a good rabbit hole.
Yeah, he's funny.
It's a good rabbit hole. He's very funny. But there was so many, like he got jammed up by NBC back in the 90s for the OJ. He kept just hammering the OJ Simpson stuff. and the producers there were not thrilled with it, but he had some freaking funny skits on, because he was doing that Weekend Update thing too, right?
He was really good on Weekend Update back then.
Really good. Really good. Anyway,
anyway, Chris Rock, by the way, has a very funny bit about what's his name, the father of the father of the Kardashians, who was one of OJ's main lawyers.
Rob Kardashian, right? Or is it Rob? Or no, what was his name?
I don't know what his first name is, but I can't tell you any details because it's, even for this venue where we can curse, it's inappropriate. But go check that out. The Chris Rock on the Kardashian dad. That is super funny.
Robert Kardashian. Yeah.
Robert, there you go.
Was the father.
Yeah. Man, I had something I wanted to tell you real quick, and I just forgot what it was.
Tell me.
Anyway, I had one other story to share, but I can't think it's my mind's gone blank on it. I can't think of what it was. By the way, my new favorite comedian, he's been my favorite for about a couple of years, and now he's getting really big. You know Nate Bargatze?
I don't.
He's gotten so big, this guy.
Italian dude?
No, I don't know if he's Italian, but he's from, like, Tennessee. And I'm not usually, I'm not a Southern comic type of guy. He doesn't really do Southern humor necessarily, but...
What's his name, Nate?
Nate Bargatze, Bargatze. He was on Saturday Night Live a couple times in the last couple of years. This guy is blowing up now. He is coming. I've already bought tickets. He's coming to the Cavs Arena. He's playing in the Cavs Arena. You got to be a big comedian to play a basketball arena in October of 25, and I already have tickets for the show.
Oh, okay.
This guy's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I think I've seen him before.
And he's clean, which I don't, me, I don't usually care about that, but he's a clean comic, super hilarious. He's kind of like, I like kind of observational humor type of guys, and that's what he does. And he makes fun of himself.
Like Seinfeld. Seinfeld was like that. Right?
Seinfeld-esque, yeah. He's like a modern Seinfeld, because like a lot of Seinfeld's references at this point are a little dated because he's older. This guy, in a way, is I kind of like him even better than Seinfeld, but he's like a modern. He has some of Seinfeld style.
Now you're gonna make me go watch.
Go watch him. He's super funny.
He's got a Netflix special, right?
He's got a bunch of specials, Amazon, Netflix. It's really funny. Everybody should check him out. And like I said, he's coming to Cleveland in October.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I mean, it's. I'm looking at his Wikipedia page right now. It says that he's from Nashville, as you said, born and raised in Nashville, and he sold out the Bridgestone Arena, which is their hockey arena right there.
I bet he'll sell out the arena here. Tickets were already going fast, and I was the first week they were available, and the concert's not for 10 months, but I was excited to get them. Anyway, everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy all the football. Thanks to Alex, Max, and Z for producing. We'll be back. Dustin and I will be live Monday at 2 p.m., the final live show of 2024, and then we'll be back after the new year after that. So I'll see you Monday. All right.
Can't wait. Have a great weekend, everybody.
We'll see everybody.
Go Buckeyes! OH!
I-O! Later.